ground shake. You stand tall, never fear the climb. All for one, and it's game time. In the stands, hear the roaring crowds. Wearing colors, we're standing proud. 12 teams fight under the spotlight's rays. Glory's night in the all-star blaze. Sweat and toil on this hallowed turf, one will rise. Showcase, glory's chase, feel the ground shake. You stand tall, never fear the climb. All for one, and it's game time. In the stands, hear the roaring crowds. Wearing colors, we're standing proud. 12 teams fight under the spotlight's rays. Glory's night in the all-star blaze. Sweat and toil on this hallowed turf, one will rise.
Good evening, All-Stars. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Duggan here for what is overall game week 21, but in terms of the league, game week kind of 18/19, if you exclude the cups. We have Steve in the chat, we have Mega Horse in the chat, Jens the Viking in the chat, and we've got Savage knocking about as well. So tonight's fixtures serve up another divisional conference show off. Thanks very much, Horse. Cheers, mate. Thanks for all your messages of kindness, lads. I'm getting there. I'm probably about a brown injury at the minute, but I am alive. So tonight we have internal conference games, and this is the state of play. So in terms of the Eastern Conference, we've got Bisons who are now pulling away at the top of that Eastern Conference. The Bisons who do play a drivetrain, you've got to think that's a really, really, not necessarily a must win because we're only halfway through the season, but if drivetrain get beat there by Bisons, then they're going to be, 14 points behind the Bisons. Vikings against the Memphis Reigns. Memphis Reigns, Rox is kind of slowly easing his way back into it, even Dimblemate, and he'll be wanting 3 points there to really try and pull himself off the bottom of the overall table. Over to the Central Division, which has tightened over the last few weeks. Dandy's missed out on a good opportunity to get 6 points the other night and kind of are rooted on 22. El Local Fire have really been picking up their form. Alcatraz have stuttered a little bit, and Pelham have probably been a bit inconsistent. And tonight, Pelham Dandies looks absolutely massive in terms of Dandies could be within 3 if they were to beat Pelham, but that'll be no mean feat. And Alcatraz and El Local Fire do play each other as well. Dimble certainly will be hoping that Scotty gets 3 points tonight to pull Dimble back into that kind of wider, closer Central Conference League. Over to the Western Conference, where the Des Moines Demons are on 32 points, and they play the Steam Pigs tonight. An injury hit and suspension hit Steam Pigs, which we will see when we come to their kind of preview. And then lastly, making up the fixtures is the Gators against the Short Pump Sloths, who are persisting on playing Roberto Ayala as a one at the back. And that says it all, really. We'll just have a little bit of a look at the kind of form table. Bisons have been at the top of that form table for a long, long time. But it really has seen some teams that were struggling at the start, starting to climb up that form table. The Dandies, a local fire, and the Memphis Rains in particular, who had awful starts to the season. They were the three teams that went winless by game week 4, now starting to get back into it, and the conferences do reflect that. So we'll see where the lottery wants to take us tonight to start, and it does take us to a very interesting clash with the Des Moines Demons against the Steam Pigs. This is how the Demons go. They just make 2 changes. Romchenko come in and Shivu comes in. Paredes continues with the captain's armband. And again, that mercurial Vitaly Volodenkov, who has been, quietly good for the Des Moines Demons. Mix of sub appearances and a mix of starts. Even Tate on my man. Yeah, I'll do Vikings next, Jens. And then it is the second game for Maxim, who didn't quite get off the mark in his debut. But we'll see how that flat 2-7-1, probably the most unhorsey-like formation I've seen him play, gets on tonight as they sit top of their conference. Over at the Steam Pigs, who do miss 2 big players, Harry Kuehl is out for 2 weeks, and Wallace Samuel is suspended for the 1 game. This is how Steve goes. Does make a couple of changes in terms of personnel. You'll have seen it just hop there in that spine. Samuel, Rakelme, and Kuehl out for Ado, Zanuni, and Franca, who are all more than capable replacements. And we have a ghost game to start off, so we will jump straight to the Vikings. Vikings, as Jens has probably let out a little squeal of pleasure there. Big news coming out of Vikings HQ is that Emerson is going to be out for a month. Him and Paul Scholes are the 2 that are on the injury table across the league for the longest at the moment. They do play the Memphis Rains tonight. They do just make a couple of little tweaks with Johnson dropping back. Petkov comes in, almost a little bit of kind of passy of positions in this kind of middle spine, but other than that, they look familiar. Over at the Memphis Rains, who have slowly pulled themselves back into it. You saw them 3rd in the form table, and this is how they go. Francesco Totti does make his debut tonight for that monster deal that that Rocks did, which was a very, very generous offer, but a really, really admirable one of Saviola and Crespo for Totti coming in. And Horse says Yepes, yeah, he's out for a month as well. Big player for Horse, he is Yepes. We don't get a ghost game, so we will kick off. Any predictions in the chat? Can the Memphis Rains continue to climb up the league in the form table and pull themselves back into contention for those end of season playoffs, which will be absolutely mental when they come, no doubt about that. Veron with half a chance. Memphis Rains now coming back into it. Free kick to them. 2-2 from Mega Horse is the prediction. Are we going to get a goal before half time? It's 0-0. And there is Zanetti with, I think, only his 2nd goal of the season. Deady now. A lot of attacks coming down the wing there in terms of the 2nd goal of the season. Really high rating. He's been quietly good for Jens. And those are the match stats at half time. Vikings dominant in just about every metric there, with the exception of headers, but actually did look on top for the vast majority of the text. Over at the stats, we got kind of 7s and 8s, really cementing the solidity of their position. Van Nistelrooy really not offering much in his debut, I think. Is it his debut? Yes, it is. Obviously went the other way for Maxim that we've just seen for the Des Moines. And as we have a live offer from Dimble there for Kaladze for Zambrana. Tato will snap that up, I think. Over to the Memphis Rains, haven't seen Rocks in the chat. I think he's watching Leverkusen Atlanta. We got a 5 from Michelini, otherwise 6s and 7s. Jens goes as is, so we will just hang on for 10 seconds or so and see if Rocks pops up. Let's just check on the Leverkusen and Atlanta score. 2-0 still. What a shock that would be. And we will roll to 60 minutes. The All-Star FIFA lads have got a big promotion game after this later on tonight. We get to 60 minutes. Totti has half a chance. Totti with another chance, hits the bottom of the post. Quentin doesn't move. Big game for the FIFA boys tonight on Pro Clubs. 7s and 8s for Vikings. And again, Van Nistelrooy proven to be ineffective. He really hasn't been good this save with 1 goal across 13, 15, 15, is that last season maybe? In terms of the transfer over, 15 or so appearances. Maybe a bit of a dud Van Nistelrooy. Conditions wise, 78% on Mackay, and Jens is in there with the swap of Donny for Mackay, and then swap with Veron. Donny, who has been very, very good from that MC position. We're not going to make any changes on Rock's behalf. There's no conditional issues really, and Vieri definitely wouldn't be coming off, even if he was on 0%, as we run it through on 2 full time. And the Memphis Reigns will try and get a goal there. Big, big save from the Vikings keeper. Donny into the book now. A little bit of pressure from the Memphis Reigns coming. Vieri has a go for long range. Excellent tackle. Cannavaro's winning everything in the air today, says the commentator. 85 minutes played. Can they get a chance? No, they can't. And that is old school classic Vikings of Super League fame, who weathered a storm in the second half, a massive storm from the Memphis Reigns, and actually came out on top. And there, lo and behold, you think that was going to be the case with the top commentary text. Fabio Cannavaro, man of the match at full time. 4 for Mickey Laney. Rocks will not want to see that back. And the Vikings run away with 3 points. Pumas v Dandies now tonight. Pumas just making one change tonight with Joe Cole coming in onto that left-hand side. Everything else stays as is. In terms of the Pumas form, they are inconsistent but still very, very solid of a team. Really, really hard to beat. And we'll see how Dims gets on tonight. Over at the Dandies, couple of players going out the door. Beckham, Robin and Ferguson are imminently about to depart. Ferguson maintains his place despite back-to-back fives. And this is really, it's not necessarily a make or break result here tonight for the Dandies. But if they were to get 3 points, it really would pull them back in touch and distance of Pelham, who have been, by far in a better way, the better side of the two in their conference division this season. Montella gets there. Chiotis with a big chance. Feels as though there's a lot of Pelham pressure early doors. 12 minutes played. Cafu body checked. Simkoviak, Constantinu, who just hasn't really scored much. And there is a man who has scored a fair bit. Vincenzo Montella. Lizarazu with a chance. Can the Dandies bounce back? Back deflects off the wall. This would be 3 defeats on the spin after a little bit of a recovery from the Dandies if they weren't to get anything from this game. Lizarazu, Robin, Lightsman flag goes up. Dandies coming back into it now. Constantinu. Jeremy's feels like a lot of Dandy's pressure going into the half. Can Pelham hit back with a sucker punch to go 2-0? And they do. Little bit undeserved going 2-0 up there, but you've got to take your chances when you're on top. And Pelham are clinical, if nothing else. Kaladze into the book, free kick, back with a free kick. Jeremy's Grace is the top of the bar. And that's probably one of the most undeserved 2-0s going into half time. But that is absolutely clinical from Dimble and fair play. Over at the Dandies, mixes of 6s and 7s, and Lizarazu there was just about involved in everything, and he gets an 8 at half time. Over at the Pelham Pumas, whose ratings largely are miles better than the Dandies, but they've had very, very little of the ball, and we'll see if Dimble wants to do anything there. We're going to go for it, because why the fuck not? 2-0 down, and we need 3 points. So that's how we go, and if that doesn't prompt an as is from Dimble, there we go, as is from Dimble, and we'll probably look to take advantage of the extra space that might open up. .54 minutes played now. Dandies have really got to get a goal in the next 10 minutes to be able to kick on. Robin again denied a great goal. Nothing happening for the Dandies. Nothing condition-wise. Barry Ferguson again offering very, very little. We'll go look at Tony for Constantinu and Lednev for Simkoviak. And we'll jump over to the Pelham Pumas, who have Kaladze and Clive on yellows. Condition-wise, all above 85%. Nothing to worry about there. And we'll see if we're going to see a Soroczynski maybe, or a Nikolai for Clivert potentially. Maybe Soroczynski coming on for Kaladze. No change for Dimble. He's going to see it through. And we'll see if the Dandies need to score in the next couple of minutes. Otherwise, it's going to be game over. And there is a chance to put the game to bed. But the Pumas don't take it. This is why the Dandies have done the business that they have done. They create a hell of a lot, but they just do not put the ball in the back of the net. 85 minutes played. This is going to be a routine shutout for the Pelham boys, and another blank for the Dandies. Pelham run out 2-0 winners. Jens Jeremy somehow gets man of the match despite having been on the losing side and conceding 2 goals, and just Dandy's not creating anywhere near enough, and not taking the chances that they had. Really, really poor set of grades there, you'd say, for a team that have won 2-0, but Dimble will not care at all, gets the job done. Emmanuel Petit continues to be very, very good in terms of the tackle count, and well done to Dims. Over at the Short Pump Sloths, you may have seen on the pre-stream graphic on the thumbnail that Ayala is one at the back and holding back the flood with a 3 behind Salas up top as Mpenza is about to leave the club. Over at the Blackwater Gators, who go like this, a diamond in the middle of the park. Dan scraps that flat 3 that has stood him in such good stead for so long, and Rio Ferdinand comes in for a bit of a debut. Let us know in the prediction what you're after, what you think's going to happen. And there is Marcelo Salas within the first minute, who does put his team 1-0 up. Javier Saviola scores, but it's offside. Can the Gators get back into it? Crespo with half a chance puts it wide. Didier got there on the right-hand side. Salihamidzic is offside on the counter-attack. Salihamidzic now goes into the book. Hell of a lot of text for just the 31 minutes played. And we'll see if the Gators can get a goal back into it for half-time. That is, but now into the book with Salihamidzic. Ziriberto now. Guerrero with a drive. Corner. And there is the second. Oh, it's been disallowed. So we've had 2 disallowed goals in that first half. Gators getting absolutely zero. Getting absolutely 0 shots on target, and Short Pump making use of the 3 that they did have. Crespo on a 5. That's not what Dan will be wanting to see. And mixes of 6s and 7s, and really nothing to write home about there. 4 shots. How has Crespo had 4 shots, but Short Pump have only had 3 shots? What the fuck? Am I reading that right? Oh, hang on. Oh no, that's Short Pumps, not Gators. My bad. Over at the Gators, 6s and 7s and 8s, with D'Alessandro not really offering them the creativity that Rob wants from him in that MC position. Ziriberto absolutely involved in everything down that left-hand side. His name was really prevalent in that match text, and we will see how they get on. Haven't heard anything from Dan, so we'll just give him a couple of seconds. Haven't seen him in the chat tonight. So we will roll, and any changes that do come through from Dan will go in at 60 minutes. Good save from Oliver Kahn there, 58 minutes played. Over to Short Pump, and Salas gets a brace. Looks decent, and he gets a brace. Salas was saying that he felt his manager should be playing him, or that he should be a starting player. Rob Sloth wouldn't have seen that in his pack. He would have just picked him anyway, I think. And that's how they look. Go for it, the Gators boys. 6s and 7s from Saviola and Crespo on debut is not what Dan would want to see. Carlos and Agat on 6s. I'm not going to make changes for him, but you know, if he was here, you'd probably be seeing Carlos and Agat bomb on a little bit further. Rob does go as is, but we will just see if Dan pops up in the chat, and if not, we will roll. That Leverkusen Atlanta result is absolutely mad, considering they were going for the invincible season. And we continue to full time. What would be a massive, massive victory for the Short Pump Sloths. Certainly, they're in need of a little bit of a resurgence. We're on a bit of a bad run of form. This would be a massive away win. Crespo has a chance saved. Oliver Kahn's been pretty massive for the Sloths at the back tonight. Del Piero, can Salas get his hat-trick? No, he can't, but that is, again, another routine win. Maybe not as comfortable as Pelham against Dandies, but certainly, you know, in control, you would say. And Crespo has had 8 shots, 4 on target, and he sits on a 6. Massive, massive result for the Short Pump Sloths, as Marcelo Salas gets a man of the match performance. And Penzo going out the door, but actually, has he found his replacement and more in Marcelo Salas. Over to the drivetrain versus St. Domingo's. Big game this. Savage has submitted a slightly different tactical tweak, although I haven't looked under the hood, but it is a unique tactical file for this game, as he maintains more or less the same personnel, with the exception of Paul Scholes, who is out for a month. Over to the Bisons, they make a few little tweaks. The departing players in Nikiforenko and Ronaldo and Okoronkwo don't feature, with Nikiforenko and Okoronkwo departing the subs bench and the starting 11 to make way. Very familiar setup and formation, and is Zambrotta playing his last game for the Bisons. Best of luck to both managers. We will roll and we will get to half time, hopefully with a load of action and a load of goals. Tomasi down the left wing there, 7 minutes played. Feels like a lot going on for 10 minutes of text. Marquez cannons back off the crossbar, 15 minutes played. Santos, Piers involved. Feels very Bisons heavy this. Half a chance for Scally there. Barthez holds the ball well. Rossini with a header. He hasn't quite hit the heights that Tato would have been expecting, but they're still absolutely flying at the top of the table regardless. Mendieta has a dip, and we get to half time, and the drivetrain attack just fizzled out throughout all of that half, getting bullied in tackle, slightly edging tackles, but definitely getting bullied in headers as we go over to the Bisons, who really haven't had to put many tackles in at all. They have a spate of 8 amongst 6s and 7s. Over at the drivetrain, be interesting to see what Savage dissects of that performance, with nothing much standing out really. I did see Savage earlier, but I haven't seen him. He was actually the first one in the chat tonight there, but actually haven't seen him in a decent little bit. Oh, there we go. There is Savage with an as is. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Both managers go as is as we race to 60. First goal might be absolutely vital. Neither of these sides concede many. 49 minutes played now, 10 minutes to go until the 60-minute mark. Feels as though drivetrain are just coming into it a little bit more. Henri's mentioned a few times there. Scally into the book. We're on the click. Oh, and that's a double save from Barthez. Didn't see who it was from, but it was a double save in there. And I thought we were going to get the curse of the click goal. 86%, 82% for Marquez. You'd expect that maybe Leonardo or potentially Pizarro is going to come on, maybe at AMC there for him. Ratings wise, it's only Valgarin on a 6, but Valgarin's one of those players that actually won't get you ever high ratings, but will just do a job in there. Over at the drivetrain boys, rather. Boyer again continues to offer very little within the league. Not really done much there for him. And the forwards are starting to come into it, as you heard from, or as you read rather, from the commentary text. 82% the only real standout. Maravicchia on that right-hand side. Tato does make a few changes. Pierre for Pizarro. Zambrotta off for Charlotto. And that'll do for Tato, as he says they look pretty good. I would agree you were in control for the vast majority of that. Drivetrain probably just came into it the last 9-10 minutes or so, I would say. 60-minute American long ball, and we'll see how that comes off for the drivetrain. 69 minutes. 72 minutes. Who's going to get this first all-important goal? 86 minutes. Are we going to extra time for the first time tonight? Boyer into the book, and it is end of 90 minutes, with the long ball definitely creating much more for drivetrain as of 60 minutes, and looks a little bit more of an even battle now after Bisons were on top for a long time there. Bookings for Marquez and Gaisca Mendieta. 7s and 8s for the Domingos Bisons. Drivetrain, they're yet to make a personnel change, but we do have, is that Rivaldo on 79%? And Medevicchia on 76%, struggling a little bit. Svitlichovsky, does he come on? Or does Edmundo maybe come on for a run out? He can absolutely do a job on the left-hand side, maybe not the right. And Lee Boya and Scally, two of his big tacklers, both on a yellow card. Leonardo on for Marquez. Take a little change of gamble and cheers. And then a roll from Savage. Definitely came back into it, Sav, mate. And again, you only need one goal, and there is the super sub. The super sub gets the goal, and Bisons get the win, and that is a 14-point lead over the drive team within the conference that they do have tonight. And Damiano Tomazzi went on that mazy run on the left-hand side at the start of the game, and he does get the win. Over at the drive train, just really struggled, I think, to create big chances. Henri's name was certainly mentioned a lot more, but didn't look particularly on top at any point during that game as the Bisons get a game. And we go over to the El Loco Fire against Alcatraz. There are two changes. Brozak and Collins come in for Alcatraz, and that's the only personnel changes they make. Over to the El Loco Fire. Scotty, can you just let me know who your captain is, please, mate? Not sure I caught that on the submission, so just let me know before I do the click. As they do make a couple of switch ups to their 24, so they've got a really solid 24 now that they're absolutely set on. A few ups and a few downs, and potentially a few deals still in the pipeline for Scotty to get over the line. Yeah, let me just check and see. If I can see your skipper, you might beat me to tell me what your skipper is. Who your skipper is, Scott? Van der Vaart skipper. There we go. Excellent. And we wish the two gents the best of luck. Also, best of luck to Leeds this weekend in the playoff final. As we get underway and we jump to 26 minutes, Alcatraz have really created very, very little. Our local fire feel miles on top there. Yeah, seeing as Scotty, mate, I think you're on a little bit of a delay compared to myself. I think you're out and about on you. Jacques in there, 2 minutes to play. Torres, can a local fire continue their resurgence in this division? Looked as though our local fire created a hell of a lot more in the game, but actually they only had 2 shots. And we go over to them at 45 minutes with 6s and 7s and a couple of 8s in there. Malevsky and GVB certainly doing their bit, and also Rustigo doing his bit at the back with 5 out of 6 tackles, 2 of them being key. Over at the Alcatraz boys, we've got Brozek on a 6, and those AMC positions continue to be a bit of a challenge for Hopkins. Their form has definitely tailed off since Collins has went a little bit quiet. And Scotty just makes the one swap, which is Viduka for Torres. As Hopkins isn't here, and I haven't had any instructions, and we will crack on to 60. Oh, big clearance from Maldini. Alcatraz, Inzaghi, 56 minutes played. Can they get a sucker punch here? Collins goes into the book, 60 minutes played. Indirect free kick as we get to the 60-minute mark. Van der Vaart, the only player that's really offering very, very little in terms of match stats wise. Both of them, of course, playing flat 2-7-1s. Potential to just cancel each other out there as we see what Scotty wants to do at 60. About the Alcatraz boys, and Dai obviously putting himself about a bit, but Brozek, Nedved, all the creative players really. Emerton down the right-hand side. Collins, Nedved and Brozek really not offering very much. You sense that maybe both teams are just cancelling themselves out a little bit here. And we're going to go Jacques the right wing back and Cabello for Zanoni. Scotty rolls the dice on what is absolutely an attacking change. And we will crack on until full time. And there is Cabello. Oh, it's offside. Jacques and Cabello, the little changes. And there he scores. Jacques from DMRC gets in there. Fair play to Scotty for making. Oh, and there is Pippo. Only his 5th goal of the season, who does pull Alcatraz back into it. Scotty must have thought that it was a case of one and done there. 3 minutes to play. Brozek and Zaghi, corner. Alcatraz feel like they're going to get the winner. Viduka with a header. Now here comes a logo, and we do get to 90 minutes with 1s each. And that game sparked into life in the last 20 minutes as the local Fire looked to have taken the lead and taken the 3 points until Pippo popped up with his 5th goal of the season. Really, really solid ratings from the local Fire boys, but just haven't put this game to bed. Scotty is a role, and Hopkins is going to be a role. And Dai, who was on a 9, probably just missed a few more tackles since the 60-minute mark. Who can be the hero here? Alcatraz come into it. Brozek puts it over the bar, and we get to half time and extra time. And we'll just have a quick look there for the boys for reference if they want to screenshot it and go back to it. As we go to full time, is there going to be a winner? And there is Mark Viduka on his debut. Scotty tweeted, can Viduka come in and make a difference the other day? And he absolutely does, as our local Fire again pull themselves closer and closer towards the Dandies, and Alcatraz now drop below Pelham. Well played both. Massive win for the local Fire. We go over to the Steam Pigs versus the Des Moines Demons, who was our ghost game and our last game of the night. And Lee Young Pure has had a good 9, 9, 10, says Scotty, which is absolutely massive. And we will get to our last game of the night. And Shivu is now injured. Yepes out for a month. Shivu now injured. I am guessing it's going to be Lusenhoff, but knowing Horse, he could very well stick ZZ Roberts back there. And we'll see how he wants to move. Yeah, really kicking on now, the local boys. If it was a Super League season, you'd say they're kind of hitting form at the right time, but actually we've only just passed halfway. So they've maybe peaked a little bit too early, potentially. But definitely, Scotty's doing a good job with those young boys. Lusenhoff it is, and make him captain. I knew there'd be some sort of horsey taint or tinge to that. As we get to 15 minutes, great football from the Des Moines Demons. Romchenko, Walker, Sigalko. Sigalko does get a goal. His first ever goal puts the Des Moines Demons 1-0 up. Volodenko feels as though the Des Moines Demons are on top a little bit here. Can the Steam Pigs create anything? Going back the other way, 40 minutes. Shevchenko, there he is. What a player he's been for Steve this season. That's now 7 in 8 as he pulls his side back into it. Felt as though the Des Moines Demons were very much on top for large parts of that first half performance, but the scoreline says otherwise as they go in ones each at half time, 6s, 7s, 8s amongst it. And then over to the Des Moines Demons, who are probably the mirror image of the team there, 6s, 7s, and 8s, with nothing much to separate them. And we'll see what the boys want to do at 45. Oh, 57 for Shivu, probably not the biggest one in the world. Horses in there with play to 60 and stand up for stay right. His team are on half time, and he's talking about something totally unrelated with Dimble leg and bath time for young boys. 45 minutes, we will get to 60. Oh, Franco with a big chance and a big save from the keeper. The Steam Pigs have definitely came out the better team since half time. Can we get a stay right click? I didn't click, but Andrei Shevchenko doubles his tally here tonight, and that is now 8 in 8 for the Steam Pigs, as they look very, very solid now. Some of those 8s have turned to 9s, and some of those 6s have turned to 7s. In terms of condition-wise, nothing to write home about there in terms of worries. Over at the Des Moines Demons, who took the lead, Romchenko on a 5, 6s for Bauma and Paredes, who's been such a big player from for Horse in the past. As we will see what each of the boys want to do. Horsey conditions, 85%, 88%, 84 for Maxim, but you'd keep Maxim on the pitch even if you had 12%. Steve's in there with a nice early as is. Thank you very much, Stephen. As there may be pretty comprehensive changes coming here from Horsey. I think we'd probably see Romchenko for Extabiria. ZZ Roberts potentially. You wouldn't necessarily expect him to bring Roberts on. I think Extabiria for Romchenko, or Roberts for Romchenko, and 2 up top with 1 in behind, or 3 up top back with Arrow. If one of the FIFA boys can just drop us a text with what time we're looking at tonight, that'd be grand. Romoshenko off for Extaburia. Extend side arrow to Sigalgo like this or like that horse. Straight or diag, if you can just let us know. Diag, lovely. I like it. Very horsey, and we will go to full time. Can a Steam Pigs and can Shevchenko get his second hat-trick of this season? But it is Elbert who puts the game to bed. 3-1, 85 minutes played, and the Steam Pigs are back to their firing best. Was it the Des Moines Demons that stopped that 25-26 goal run that the Steam Pigs had with a reverse 1-0 in the reverse fixture? Potentially, as the Steam Pigs came to life after Maxim scored and got the results. Shevchenko man of the match performance, and Des Moines just unlucky with that performance. Brings us to the classified. The Bisons won it in extra time against the Drivetrain 1-0. Vikings beat Memphis Reigns 1-0 on normal time. Pelham strolled out, never got out of fourth gear, but strolled and beat the Dandies 2-0. A local fire in extra time continued their resurgence against Alcatraz. Gators got beat 2-0 off short pump slots. Probably the performance of the night from the slots, to be fair. And Steam Pigs beating the Des Moines Demons 3-1. This is how the tables look. Bisons, Vikings, Drivetrain, Reigns. Bisons now really breaking that ceiling of 40 points and looking to kick on. Pelham now sit top of the Central Conference for the first time only the second time this season, and actually do have a decent sizable gap. Bearing in mind that Dandies were within 2 points of Pelham before the last 3 game rounds, and they've really pulled away now. And their local fire continue within 3 points of Dandies. Over to the Western, it's the Short Pumps and the Gators, Des Moines Demons and Steam Pigs are top. And that concludes our action. I shall progress the save right now, boys. Get it uploaded and just drop in the chat if you need a pack, and we'll see who's on the save to get it done. Next games, I think, will be this weekend, but we'll just have to have a little organisation of that, and we'll see how we get on. Cheers for joining us tonight, and enjoy the rest of your week, boys. Teachers amongst us. Half term next week, up the All Stars.